You use your right hand panel, and down at the bottom right of that panel, you'll see a questions area. There's an arrow that you Welcome to our live Power Hour with Jessie Earl, our manager of social media at Best Friends, social media advertising at Best Friends. We're excited to have you here and offer this opportunity for you to learn from her to hopefully be able to put together your own social advertising campaign during the Save Them All challenge. I'm going to cover a couple of housekeeping items to get us started to make sure that you know how to ask questions of Jessie throughout her presentation and in the moment as we're moving along. Using your right hand panel, if you look down towards the bottom right area, there is a questions section. You can click on the arrow, which will make it point downward and maximize the window where you can start typing your question. So please utilize that area to ask questions at any point in the presentation, and we'll make sure to surface those for Jessie as we move along. Our hope is also that we have a few minutes at the end for any questions that haven't been answered that you would have the opportunity to ask at that point. And then we also have Jen Fick on the line who will share with you a few more details about some of the ins and outs of the Save Them All challenge and some fun things we've got for you. So without further ado, take it away, Jessie.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jessie Earl. I'm going to show my face here for a second. I think I am anyway. And then I'm going to disappear again because I personally find it, hello. I personally find it distracting on webinars. I start paying attention to the person and not what they're presenting. So, but I want you guys to see who's talking to you. So thank you so much for taking some time with us this afternoon. I'm going to disappear because now my PowerPoint disappeared off my screen too. So let's see. Hopefully you guys can still see my PowerPoint.
We can see you, Jess, but not PowerPoint yet.
Well, that was a fail. Let me see here. Stop sharing my webcam. Can you still see me?
Nope, you're good to go on that no webcam. So now I think we just can see your desktop. No PowerPoint yet.
All right. I will just go get it.
There you go. Rock and roll.
Okay, how is the view on that?
Looks good, Jess. I think you're all set.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm Jessie Earl. I came to Best Friends in 2012. I've worked in social the whole time that I've been here, but for the past 3 years or so, I've been focused exclusively on social advertising. So I am particularly excited to talk to you guys about this. Paid social plays a crucial role in everything that we do at Best Friends, and I know it can be helpful to you guys as we're leading up to this Summer to Save Them All campaign. So we thought it would be fun to try a poll to see who has done some advertising out there, to see who we have on the call. And it may or may not work, so let's see how this goes.
It's totally working. We can see him coming in, so that's awesome.
And now I've lost my PowerPoint again.
I think have to close it out. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think that's good. We've got an 88% vote in. I think that's pretty good. That is so strange. It takes away my PowerPoint. So, wow, it looks like 14% of you have never advertised, 60% have boosted some posts before, and 26% have done all kinds of advertising. So it sounds like you guys have a little bit of expertise out there. So I definitely want to make sure I cater this to you. So keep the questions coming as we start going through this, and maybe we can share some ideas even. Okay, so summer to save them all. It's coming so close, less than 2 weeks, June 25th to July 4th. And while we can't cover everything advertising today, I thought we could go through tactics you could use right away for this particular campaign. So the power of advertising is in its ability to reach very specific people most likely to take the action that you want. In the case of this campaign, we want them to come into our adoption center and adopt, and we want them to learn about the campaign. So while your owned channels, your email, flyers, other marketing channels can certainly have an impact, there's no reach out there like paid social. And unfortunately, as you'll see on the next slide, declining organic reach is one of the several reasons that you can't afford not to advertise. I think it's the fact that we're having this webinar shows how crucial advertising is to any business, any nonprofit. And in the past, I think it was seen as like a splurge, an extra, and not something we could budget for. But I would argue that we have to, even if it's on a small level, we have to, because thanks to Facebook's algorithm changes, and they've been working on it for years and years before this data breach business, but we're at an all-time low with organic reach, and Facebook has declared that organic reach from pages will eventually go to zero in all likelihood. So organic reach is kind of for a whole separate discussion. There's a lot of things you can do to combat that, but and it certainly should continue to be managed and invested in. But for the purposes of this webinar, we're going to keep it to paid social, and that's one of the ways that we can combat the reach issues. Competition is another one. As much as we are supportive and collaborative, we do have to consider who else is advertising out there, and if other rescues around us are advertising, then they're getting the foot traffic that we might want. So I think that there's nothing wrong with a little friendly competition there, and animal welfare groups in particular saw a 54% increase in spending on digital ads. So, and you guys are evidence of that by the fact that you've been advertising. So I think that's only going to go on the upswing. Best Friends is investing more in continuing years in paid social because we've seen a tremendous return from it for our various business goals.
Hey,
social
Jess,
advertising. Oh, yeah.
we do have one question already. They just want you to clarify what you mean and your definition of organic reach, just so everybody makes sure that they know what that means.
Oh, okay. So that is anything you do on social media where you have not put money behind it. I apologize for that. I use those terms all day long. And yes, organic social and paid social have kind of become a thing. So everything that you post on your Facebook page that people share individually, that's all organic social. If you boost a post, the minute you boost a post, it becomes a paid approach. And people will share your ads. For example, you may spend money to reach a particular audience with ad dollars, and the people that share that with their audience, you won't be charged for that. So that is technically organic social. Somebody who you paid to reach shared it organically on their own with their audience. So you get a few bonus views that way. Hopefully that makes sense. And in the scheme of digital advertising, and marketing in general, the cost to benefit ratio is advantageous for organizations. Excuse me, I need to drink a little water. Costs are relatively low, and you can start advertising on Facebook with as little as $5 a day. So there are not a lot of channels where you can get in at that kind of a value. And it allows you to highly target who you want to reach, depending on the results you're looking to drive. There are a lot of places you can invest: Yelp, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, but the best place for your dollars is still Facebook and Instagram. So the first step to get started on those is to get set up as an advertiser, which it sounds like most of you are, but I'm going to go through that a little bit because not everyone is. So there are a couple of ways that you can do that. And this is where it does get a little confusing. So if you have questions, please shoot them my way. But you can, the first way of getting set up as an advertiser is through your personal Facebook account, through your mobile app, whatever you use to manage your page. So you're probably already getting encouraged by Facebook, if you're a page admin, to boost post or promote your page, promote a video. So Facebook wants you to do that, and they're going to try and incentivize you, telling you what kind of results you could get. But to do that, you have to add a payment method. And when you do that, you're a little bit limited once you see the opportunities you have through Facebook's advertising specific platform. But it is an entry-level way to do some advertising, and you can do it quickly on the fly on your phone, and it's pretty impressive, all things considered. That's what's so great about Facebook and Instagram advertising is the user interface is very clean and easy to follow, and they continue to improve it and give you reporting as well. So they want to increase their revenue, and they're trying to make it easy to do that. So you'd add a method of payment, your credit card, to your Facebook account, and then after that, when you'd click Boost Post, it would pull up the options that you have for targeting or any kind of demographics, like if you want to limit how far the post reaches, or the kind of person you want to reach. If you only want to reach women, if you want to reach people of a certain age.
Hey, Jess, we have a question on what's the difference between clicking the promote link in upper left of the phone graphic and boost post at bottom right.
Yeah, the promote is actually kind of an overall promoting of the page, and the boosted post pulls up options to share or promote that particular post and provides targeting options there. But you'll find there are within the Facebook advertising, within the Facebook app and within the Facebook Ads Manager platform, there are a lot of different ways to do the same kinds of things. So I'm going to show you a lot, and some of it might be confusing, and we only have this short time together here today, but at the end I'm going to have some resources where you guys can go and spend some more time on your own, because it really is, you kind of have to learn it as you go. There's no other way, there's no replacement, but there are tons of demo videos and tutorials to help walk you through. So the second and the preferred way is through Facebook Ads Manager. You can only get Facebook Ads Manager when you set up Facebook Business Manager for your organization. So once you do that, you'll be able to, it's free, by the way. You can manage multiple Facebook pages. You can, this is a good tool for when you have multiple admins, not just you. let's say. So you can control who has access to your Facebook page or your advertising account and what kind of role they have. Let's see, did we have another question? A couple of questions come in.
We do have one more on should they be posting things that Facebook suggests to them. She often sees that Facebook says this post is performing better than other posts and suggests they boost it. So she's wondering if they should listen to that.
I think Facebook is a good kind of cue and indicator, but you will have to learn what works for your page and your audience and your budget. So I think that it's something to look at when they're encouraging you. They're saying that there's higher than usual engagement, but to be honest, they say that a lot. So if you don't have a reason to promote that post or a particular audience in mind, I would say save those funds for when you have a campaign that you want to get behind. So I'm going to go into Ads Manager and Business Manager a little bit more, and I am also going to jump over into a demo where we can go look at it together, and that'll be a little easier than just talking about it. All right, so like I said, Facebook makes it, Business Manager makes it easy to manage pages and create new ones even, all in one place. And you can manage your admins and you can create ads. You can set up your advertising account, and it works the same way as when you do it on your phone or your personal profile. You just add a payment method and you put in a little information about your business and it'll assign you an ad account ID. And that's what you and anyone you assign to work within that advertising account will use. That you'll have that same shared advertising account. So how you get set up on Business Manager is you go to this link and you can just Google that, Facebook Business Manager even, and it'll bring you to this link where you can pretty easily and quickly set up an account. So it allows anonymity as well, so you don't have to like personally friend people on Facebook that you want to add as an admin to your page, which is another benefit of Business Manager. So you can use your business email address to set up the account, and you can just ask anyone who would like to be added to your Business Manager for their email address, and you can add them that way. So I think we'll just kind of go into Business Manager and look at ads all at once. I think I'm going to just keep moving through this if that's okay. And I'll show you guys a little bit more what I'm talking about. So after you're set up to pay for ads through, like I said, either your phone, your mobile app, or your desktop profile, or the preferred option, Facebook Ads Manager, you want to do a plan before you start building ads, way before. So determine your budget first, because that will kind of help narrow down the campaign that you create. If you have a smaller budget, for example, you don't want to try and reach too many people because you won't be effective in that. So you have to find a balance to make sure your budget matches what you're trying to do. But at the same time, you've only got what you've got to work with. So when it comes to budget, I would just say to everyone to just start with what you feel like you can risk and test with, because you're going to have to build baselines so that you can budget later. And you need to start safe too. Start with a smaller amount and get kind of work out some kinks. And then when it's over, you need to do a thorough analysis to look at, was it successful? And that'll help you budget for the future. So there's not a magic number, I guess, is what I'm saying. You need to know your goal, because that will determine the advertising objective that you focus on. So what's beautiful about Facebook Ads Manager and even Facebook's tools off of Ads Manager that they want to guide the results that you want, but you have to tell them what that goal is. Are you trying to get more people to RSVP to your Facebook event? Are you trying to get them to click on your website? Are you just trying to get people to like your posts or comment on them? You need to tell Facebook, and they will optimize your campaign accordingly. With targeting, you need to think about who you would like to reach. There are a host of options, again, that we can't cover all today, but anything that you can narrow down about the audience you're going after, you should do that so that you get that low-hanging fruit, so that every dollar goes toward an audience that's likely to do what you want them to do. So common audiences that we use at Best Friends are people who have liked our Facebook page, people who are our email contacts, people near one of our adoption centers who likes pets, or we might add some other interests. So there's a lot of demographic points that you can plug in to help narrow down who you focus on. You have to think about what content you might have available for a particular campaign and the creative to go along with it. So that would include headlines and text for the ad, and what does the image look like? Do we have a video? Think about all of those things, and that might help guide the kind of campaign that you set up. A very big one, where are you going to send people? And you want to make sure that that it's a good place that delivers a good user experience for your audience. Time frame, I am recommending 2 weeks, say, for an event response campaign, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So that way you don't want to start talking about a promotion too soon, because people forget about it. But it also takes a while for ad campaigns to get up and running and approved and reaching your audience and people commenting on them. And so you want to also give people a little time to plan. So especially when it comes to, every campaign is different, but we're talking about the Summer to Save Them All adoption campaign. I would recommend 2 weeks if you can to start some sort of advertising promotion. So one that's great to do 2 weeks out is event response ads, where you create an event on Facebook and you want to drive people to that. I think I have an example of one of those coming up. And last but certainly not least, you need to think about how you will track it, because certainly you shouldn't spend $1 if you don't have a way to measure whether that dollar made an impact on your goals. So that could be an in-adoption center survey at like the point of adoption, or people who walk into your event, maybe you ask them, or maybe there's a survey after the fact, or maybe you are able to measure campaign success on web traffic. So whatever you and your stakeholders deem as a measurable value, make sure you think about that ahead of time, because you want to make sure every piece that you build along the way as part of your ad campaign serves to deliver that for you, so you can improve upon your campaigns. Okay, so I talked a little bit about choosing your goal and your objective for a campaign and how important that is. So this is just simply to show you how many different options there are. This is within Ads Manager, so that more advanced advertising platform. And every one of these options that you click on, they kind of fall into buckets. So there's the awareness bucket. You just want to reach as many people as you can. There's the consideration bucket. That's like people have maybe been exposed to you and you'd like them to do something. Click on your website, or RSVP to your Facebook event, or watch a video. So they're a little bit further along the journey, I guess, within their relationship with you. And then I'll just point these out, but these are not something we're going to talk about today. These are definitely more advanced tactics, the conversion tactics. So that's where we're talking about asking someone to make a donation, shop your online store. And then the store visits one is related to on-site traffic. And then a little more on the targeting options. I just wanted to kind of get you guys in this framework of kind of the big picture, all the things that are going to be available to you in advertising, most of which you won't have to tap into for this campaign. You can kind of dabble in it, I guess, but I wanted you to know that it exists. So as you go in there and start exploring, you have an idea of how everything is set up and the opportunities available to you. So core audiences are something, those are groups that are available to you when you boost a post from your phone in the Pages app. So you're not doing anything on Advertising Manager. You're simply hitting that boost post button, and you will have access to some of these core audiences. So you can select things like, I want to reach my page fans. I want to reach people who are friends with my page fans. I want to reach women 25 and up who are nearby. That is like basic level targeting, and it all accesses Facebook's own data. Those are core audiences, and I've highlighted it because those are what we'll use for the tactics I'm suggesting that you guys use for this campaign. Custom audiences and lookalike audiences are something I would love to talk about, and depending on how you guys like this webinar, maybe we'll do more, and I would love to dive into that, but those are both major rabbit holes that we won't have time to get into. But those are custom audiences, are audiences that we already own. So that's where I'm uploading best friends donor list, their email contact list, any kind of data that I have, and then from that I can build lookalike audiences that have a lot of similar traits, like the same pages. Maybe they're in the same location. Any information Facebook has about those people, it will try and identify similarities between the lists that I have uploaded and these other people that we want to reach. So those are great ways to reach more people. You can even build lists off people who have visited your website. But there's a whole lot of steps in between to do some of those, but it's good to know that they're there. So as you start getting into Facebook Ads Manager and playing around, it's important to know the structure of any campaign on a high level. So there's the campaign level. That's the first step when you get into Ads Manager. You'll hit Create, and it'll ask you to name your campaign, and it'll ask you what's your goal or your objective. So that's at the campaign level. Then there's the ad set level, and you can basically consider that your target audience. So in this case, it's showing you this campaign would have two targets, two different audiences they're going after, and maybe they're testing those up against each other. And oftentimes you could have two audiences, you could have 6 or 10, you could have one. Many campaigns we do just have one. And then that final level is the ad level. That's where your creative comes in, the copy, the graphics. So you might have one dog image and one cat image, one image that has text on it, another that doesn't. So that next level is where you input all of those things. And the ad set level that I mentioned, where you choose your audience, that's also where you choose where will these ads be placed. That's a little bit of an advanced tactic, but that's where you can say, you can specify if you would like. Facebook will default choose where your ads will be displayed, but you can tell it where you would like them or not like them as well. Okay, so next is the fun step, which is you start building ads. So I just mentioned here that the ad formats and placements available to you kind of are dependent on creative, but I would suggest that with whatever dollars you have to work with, that you focus during the time period leading up to and through the Summer to Save Them All campaign, that you put out a mix of boosted posts. event response ads, and then reach ads around your location. So I am going to show you all of those. As I alluded to earlier, there are a million different kinds of campaigns and directions you could go, but we're going to focus on those. So boosting posts. That's kind of the basic entry-level advertising. Again, you can do that from your phone, or you can do that from your desktop. You don't have to have Business Manager or Ads Manager. I'm sorry I keep repeating that, but I just want to make sure I distinguish there, because there's two different ways and everything looks different depending on which way you use. So you might boost posts, general posts about the adoption promotion. You might do a Facebook Live and walk around and kind of interview staff or some of the pets that are in your care to get people excited about the promotion. And then you could boost those Facebook Lives to reach more people. And then stories featuring some of your adoptables would be another great thing. So you can decide, it kind of depends on what you have to work with. You can decide to keep it relevant to the campaign, or you can use it as like a pre-campaign brand awareness initiative. So just help people get familiar with your adoption center and what you have going on, so that when you come out with, hey, it's time for the adoption promotion, RSVP to our event, you've got some people who have recently engaged with you, which means they'd be more likely to see your post or your ads. And then here's an example of an event response ad that I was talking about. So it requires that you set up a Facebook event, and then within Ads Manager, I messed up on that bullet, I see. You choose the engagement objective, and once you click that, you'll have the option to click on event response, and I'm going to show you that so you don't have to remember that. But you will select the event that you want to promote, and you will add a graphic. If it'll auto-populate with the event cover photo you've used on your event page, but you can switch that out if it just kind of looks funny, I guess. And this is how they appear. They show what a response someone has indicated, and they'll have that sponsored notation above to show that it was an advertisement, and you can add a little copy to it, which is nice. The experience, the ad and the experience is pretty similar when you just go through the desktop or mobile app and you're not within Ads Manager. And I looked at the registrant list. I hope that's okay. I don't know if someone from Humane Society of Tampa Bay is on, but I just sort of randomly picked one of you guys and grabbed a logo and created a mock-up of what this could look like when you do a geo-targeted reach traffic ad. And I'm talking physical traffic, not website traffic. So this type of ad, you set up, the goal is you want people to get directions. Possibly you want them to learn a little bit more about you and click on your website, but for this example, I used the get directions option. So I had the option to put a little advanced copy. So I told them, try to keep it brief, kept it about the campaign, put a timeline on it, a location, come meet some of our adoptables, use the campaign imagery, and then my call to action is get directions. And what's cool about this type of ad is that you can have it target people. You can input your address for the targeting, and you can tell Facebook you want it to serve this up to people within a 10-mile radius of your adoption center. And you can get more specific than that. People of a certain age, gender, whoever your ideal adopter is, if you'd like to narrow that down to get more out of your ad dollars. Okay, so now I am going to pull over Ads Manager. And let's see. I thought it was going to let me bring it over. Amy, any idea how I can get the PowerPoint down and my demo screen up?
Are you on two screens?
Yeah.
So if you're, whichever screen you're sharing, you're going to want to drag Ads Manager to that screen in front of your PowerPoint.
I tried that. It got blocked out. It won't do it.
Will it allow you to minimize your PowerPoint at the top right, just to get it from the forefront. All the way to the left of your X, there's an underscore that should allow you to minimize right there. Top right, sorry, X. To the left of the X, at the very tippy top of your screen, there's an underscore that should allow you to minimize.
I do not see one of those on this screen.
Or if I can. Okay, now you try. Did that do anything for anyone? No, that just minimizes my own. Okay.
All right. I'm trying to figure out how to just get this off my screen. I'm so sorry, you guys. Stand by. I want out of this slideshow.
There you go. If you hit the escape key too, that might get it out of your way as well.
My
There
goodness.
you go. You had it for a minute. There you go. You're moving it. We can see it happening.
My goodness. Okay, there we go.
Yahoo!
I really was locked out. I was hitting escape. I don't want you guys to think I'm lost over here. Okay, so what I have pulled up, I'm logged in to Ads Manager, and I got there by going to business.facebook.com, where I logged in because I've already created a business account, and I selected the Best Friends Atlanta advertising account. We haven't really done much advertising there, so I thought that would be a good one to play around in. But I just want to show you guys how quick and easy it is to set up a campaign. I don't want you to be scared, intimidated by it. So the only way to learn, like I said, is to get in there and just play around. So a couple of ad types I suggested that you do. One was the reach campaign, where the goal is to reach people near your location. So we'll do that one first. So I selected reach. I'm going to give it a campaign name, test summer to save them all. I hit continue, and now you guys can see, remember that graphic I showed you, the campaign level, the ad set level, and then the actual ads themselves. You see all that here. So we're moving along. We've already selected our objective, our goal. Now we're in the ad set level, and it wants to know who do we want to target. So I'm going to say 10-mile radius of adoption center. Okay, which Facebook page? This might not apply to you guys, but we have a lot of Facebook pages. So which Facebook page do you want this ad to be displayed from? And then I'm going to go tell it, no, I don't want to select the entire United States. So I'm going to close that out. I want it to specifically, how about we'll do the sanctuary. So I'm going to type in the sanctuary address. And it narrows my audience. So I can see to the right, let's see, that it's estimating, if I do that, that I can reach 6,600 people. This audience size gauge that you see here, I you want to make sure that you're in this green zone. So if you go too broad, you're reaching a lot of people, but you're maybe not reaching people more likely to RSVP to your event or click on your link to learn more about your adoptables. If you get too specific, you're not reaching enough people to make an impact. And so you're in that red zone. So make sure you're in the green zone, you'll be good. So I know that I can only reach a max of 6,600 people here. The sanctuary is in a remote location, so I wouldn't want to budget too much for that because there's not a lot of people to reach. So I can go through if I want and narrow down the age, the gender, and then here's the really cool part. You can just play around and just start typing interest. That's funny, it didn't pull up anything for pets. There we go. So pets, Petco, your organization name. You can further go and tell it, I want people who like my page, friends of people who like it. Or you may want to exclude people who like your page. This is pretty cool. You can target people who have responded to one of your events in the past. So Facebook makes it easy to target all sorts of people. Most of the time, I would say leave it on automatic placements. That's where is your ad going to get served. The only reason you really care about that is it makes you wonder, is your audience on the space that it might be served on? And then how does your creative look in that space? Because you might have sized it for Facebook and it might not look so good elsewhere. So that would be a reason you might want to turn that off. And if you want to get down into that nitty gritty, that's how you do it. You just click edit placements and you can kind of look through all the options you have for targeting with your ads and uncheck or check as you'd like. Here you set a budget, daily budget or a lifetime budget. I always select lifetime budget. So be careful, alert yourself to that because I have had an error happen once where I put a lifetime budget in error as a daily budget, and luckily I realized it within a couple of hours, but that could have been very bad. It could have started spending money very quickly. So you want to put a cap. That lifetime budget is throughout the duration of the campaign. This is the max I want to spend, Facebook. So if you spend it all on day one, well, I guess it's done. So that's kind of the safe bet. So select a lifetime budget and maybe I'll say like $250. And then be careful about choosing your date range. Make sure you get that right. So we would want to make sure, how about we'd start this, we'll start it today, but we'll have it end when the campaign ends. You don't have to worry too much about these things. I would say just skip over those pieces until you get more comfortable. Facebook's defaults aren't so bad. And I realize we're, running out of time here pretty soon, so I will keep it moving. Here, now we're on the ad level. This is where you can build in your own creative. So this reminds me of another point that while I talked about how you can boost posts right from the Facebook app or when you're on your desktop within Facebook as an admin, with the ads manager, you can still do post boosting, but it's kind of a whole different thing. It uses the post as an ad, but it gives you all of these targeting and objective options, and it gives you a lot more control over who sees that boosted post and the results that you want to get out of it. So there are times when you would want to select use existing post, and I could choose from a drop down everything I've posted recently, but in this case we're just going to build out an ad. So again, I would want to tell it what pages, what accounts do I want these ads to come from. Best Friends Atlanta is a good one. And these pages are in here for me in a drop down because I added them in the business manager when I set up my Facebook business manager. So Facebook will walk you through all of that when you go and sign up, but I just wanted to call that out, that there's a reason for it, because it makes everything handy and accessible when you go to build your ads. So here I have a variety. This is something you can play with. For now, we're going to just do single image. So, but you might want to play around with different creative options. So they're kind of like templates, and you can plug in your own images and links as you'd like. And here, as I mentioned, we want this ad to be all about learning more about the campaign, and maybe even visiting our location. So let's say, just make the website bestfriends.org. You can even indicate how you want that to display. So if you have like a really long, ugly URL, you might want to clean it up a little bit with what displays and turns up in your ad creative. So I guess I need to pick an image here because it's choosing a default. Go with that guy. So I picked my image, my ad's starting to shape up. I'll just put placeholder here, copy, 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 whatever you want to say. And then this is a key component. This is the headline. This is where it currently says homepage current. So I want it to say adopt to save them all. And then this link description text only shows up on desktop, so it's not super important. But you still want to make sure you plug it in there for the few people who might see it. Come in and meet our adoptables, I'll say.
Hey, Jess, on the copy part, this question might be applicable there. This person asks, I know having longer posts, it helps to have a, quote, read more to encourage a click, but is it best to keep promoted posts shorter?
I think so. I've got a best practices slide later that I definitely need to zoom through to get to, but I recommend that you keep that lead copy to like about 90 to 120 characters, but there are exceptions. Like if you're telling the story of an animal and maybe you have a video to go with it, you need to add a little bit of extra detail, then I would say test it. And that's the cool thing about Ads Manager, is it will allow you to create another ad to run right alongside this one, where everything is the same except for you tried a different intro, a longer story, let's say, so you can see which one gets you the most clicks, for example, for the lowest price. So the call to action button. Again, you want to make sure you plug in all these pieces available to you so that your ad looks clean and complete. And in this case, I want them to get directions because I want foot traffic. So that's the tool I'm using, and it's flagged for me, and it says that you can't run this kind of ad on Instagram. So that's fine. I don't really care in this case, so I'm just going to ignore that. If I really wanted to do something on Instagram, I might have to set up a separate campaign on Instagram that met Instagram's rules. All right, and then I'm going to hit confirm, and I'll just delete it later just so you guys can see what happens next. But basically, the ad gets dropped into your Ads Manager, and you can review all data. It'll sit here for a minute because it'll have to be reviewed. They'll have to make sure it meets their standards, and eventually it would start serving up to everyone. So I usually like to double check. I like to go in and make sure I set my targets up appropriately and that my ads look okay. Here you can preview. Again, we can't possibly go through all things Ads Manager here, but you're going to just have to play around. I'm just showing you how easy it is just to click around. You click here and you end up there, and but don't be afraid of it, is the main takeaway. So there's a preview of how my ad will look. And I'm going to have to jump out of Ads Manager. I am going to show you one thing And that is how to get to the event response ads, since we talked about those. So I'm going to create another campaign. I'm going to start over. It remembers I had just created one, so it's checking that I don't want to do something with that campaign. And you kind of have to learn this, where to find the goal you need, but I know that the event response ads are under engagement. So I clicked engagement, event responses. So the goal here is I want people to RSVP to my event, and I'm going to label it so it makes more sense to me. And then now, because of the ad type that I have selected, let's see, is it going to let me do it here? I'm going to ignore all this. This is not how I would want it, but I just want to click through so I can show you the next piece. So this is where I'm going to select the event I want it to promote, but I first have to tell it what page I'm talking about. So I'm going to tell it Facebook Atlanta or Best Friends Atlanta. And then here it tells me to choose the event I want to promote. So I don't think they have that event loaded right now, but it queues up the events they have had or do have. And so I'll scroll through and make sure you get the right one, the one that you've cleaned up, the one you've provided all the accurate details. You click it and your ad gets populated. And again, you have the option to edit text. And just like the other process, you hit confirm. So I'm going to take you back to the last couple of slides I had.
Just while you're transitioning, when you get a second, if you found that a certain dollar amount works better than others, for example, do you see a big difference between $50, $75, or $50 to $200?
I think that really depends on the objective you're trying to achieve and how many people you have to reach. I think you have to start somewhere you're comfortable with, and you can always increase it along the way. You can sometimes decrease it, but at some point it crosses a threshold and you can't decrease it anymore from what you've said. But I'll tell you, on a typical, like, you'll start to learn that it costs, like Best Friends Utah, for example, has been getting event RSVPs for about 65 cents a piece. So they know they're aiming to get, they've seen from keeping track of it that if they get 1,000 RSVPs on their events, that gives them the turnout they want physically at the event. And so they can backtrack and figure out how much they'd have to budget based on a 65-cent event RSVP. You'll learn how much it costs to reach a certain number of people from your page. I mean, because it varies every day, it varies with your market. But I would say, like, our local programs, they often boost posts with like $50 to $100 maybe, sometimes less. And then something like a big, huge super adoption, they might spend, you know, 500 or something. But it's all relative, and you've got to just start somewhere. So there, like I said, there's no magic number, unfortunately. I just referenced here, it's so important to look at, did it work? So Facebook offers some data. It tells you how many people you reached, how many people clicked on your ads. Did anybody like your page? I mean, there's entire tutorials off their data. I just wanted you to know about this term, the Facebook Pixel. So that's something you can install on your website, and it tracks all the activity of people who viewed or clicked on your ads, and you can later track what actions they took on your website, which is really cool. At the very least, you can do link tagging. So you could create a special link just for people who, just for your ads, let's say, and using something as simple as bit.ly. You know, you could do a shortened link, and you'd know that that particular link was tied to your ads, and so you could look at how many people clicked on that link from your ads. So these are a little more advanced tactics, but I mention them because everybody's on different spectrums here. And then, as I mentioned before, on-site surveys are a great way. How did you hear about us? And sometimes you have to lead people further to get to the Facebook ad part. best practices for ad creative. Choose captivating images. It matters. So that's something you'd start thinking about in that planning phase before you're building ads. Mobile friendly everything. The majority just assume that people, just like you're probably managing a lot of your Facebook activity on your mobile, people are accessing your content there too. So you need to make sure it looks good there. That means tiny logos and lots of copy and blurry images. They get even more blurry when they're small. Keep the copy brief, include a clear call to action about what you want people to do. And I just said, mention names and use images of particular pets where you can. So that's been great for us when we say, come visit pets like Margot or Drusilla, and any little bits of details you can provide. It personalizes it. And then engagement on your ads matters. You'll start to see as you dig in there that ads are assigned relevance scores. And the higher relevancy Facebook sees your ads, the cheaper your costs will be on that campaign. So you want to deliver something that is seen as relevant to the audience you're going after, because Facebook wants to offer valuable content to their users. So part of the way you get relevancy is that you respond to people who are commenting on them. They might have questions about your event that you're advertising to them. So don't disappear once you serve the ad up to them. That's very important. And then these last two slides are just resources. So free or low-cost tools for creative. I really love Canva. They offer free accounts for nonprofits. You just have to apply for it. And then they have templates for all different types of ad sizes. So you can tell it, I want to do a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad, and it'll have a template for you, and you can plug in your images, and it's really cool. And then PicMonkey is another one that kind of does the same thing. And I think they have a free offering, but it's very low cost. It's like $4 a month or something on a paid basis. And then best places to learn more. I'm still constantly learning. It's impossible to keep up. It changes all the time. But one way is watching ads that others serve up to you. And I included an example. You know it's an ad when it has things like a prompt to like a page, a sponsored notation, or down here, a call to action. Facebook posts, regular Facebook posts on a page don't have buttons like that, calls to action. So that's typically an ad feature. So if you see something like that, you know it's an ad. So start paying attention to them and what elements you like and don't like. And then all these links, I believe Amy's going to make this PowerPoint available to you guys after the fact, but these are links where you can dig in and learn more about Business Manager, Facebook ads. There's a Facebook ads guide that walks through every kind of type of ad you'd want to run. And then Facebook Blueprint is their e-learning center. So there's a tutorial on anything and everything there. So I recommend you check it out. And I have left no time for Jen, but I'm sure she can be quick. We are going to offer you guys some graphics that you can plug in if you'd like. And there's a grant opportunity. So take it away, Jen.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I'll keep it short. Hey everyone, it's Jen. You guys have probably been receiving some emails from me regarding this promotion, so I'll keep it short. I just have two fun housekeeping items I wanted to touch base on. The first thing is the $1,000 grant. I know many of you have been asking about that. So 3 network partners who attended this webinar today will each win $1,000. I'll get the list of attendees from this webinar today, and then I will send the winners an email to let you guys know that you've won, and just some more details about the grant and a few things we'll need from you, like samples of the ads that you do with the money we provide. And I'll also post the winners in our Save Them All digital community group so everyone can see who won. And then the second thing is we are having creative created as we speak for you guys. So if you win the money, or even if you don't, you'll have creative to go do these ads that you've learned today from Jessie. We'll have a dog and a cat version. We just have to throw a network partner logo on there, and I'll get those out to you guys in the next few days. And I'll also post in the digital community to let you guys know that the creative is available. So I think we're up on time, so I'll go ahead and pass it on to Amy to wrap things up.
Thank you, thank you. I'm so excited to provide all of these opportunities for you guys to be able to not only access this information from Jessie, but these opportunities to use creative already ready for you and money to get things done. One of the questions we had really quick was about Instagram. So I don't know, Jessie, if there's anything specific, maybe resource-wise, that we can send out if they want to do something similar with Instagram, since I know we only had time to talk to Facebook today. So I just want to make sure that person's question was surfaced.
Sure. So Instagram is, because Facebook owns Instagram, it's sort of treated as like a placement. So as a default, if you create a Facebook campaign, it's likely going to serve your ad on Instagram. But in addition to that, through Instagram, you can also set up a payment option just like you do on Facebook and boost posts, and it kind of looks very similar to the Facebook side of things. Instagram, I didn't dig directly into that for time purposes and because, like I said, it's a placement, but you just want to keep an eye on how your ads look there, and it shouldn't be overlooked. We're seeing more and more results from Instagram as well. Not near Facebook, but it's up there. So keep playing around with it, and you may want to set up Instagram specific campaigns, and you do that as I showed you everything through the ads manager. You do it the exact same way for Instagram, all within Facebook's ad manager, only you deselect all of the ad placements except for Instagram.
Cool.
So that's if you wanted to do something particular to that space.
They're just wondering if that double charges then if you're doing that. Does that make sense?
Oh no. So so Facebook serves their ads. They can serve their ads on different places on Facebook. Their audience network, they call it. So that's actually a bunch of websites that have partnered with them. So it's kind of a sneaky way to like advertise all across digital. So I usually don't uncheck that with any campaigns because kind of like, what the heck? So it places your ads that you've already created on Facebook. It kind of reformats them and places them on various websites who have signed in to be part of Facebook's audience network. So you can like Google and try and get an idea of like what kinds of websites might be on there, but that is no additional charge, nor is Instagram. It's all part of whatever campaign budget that you set up.
Perfect, thank you. Since we're at time, we're going to call it a wrap. I just want to thank Jessie so much for her time, for the information that she put together, for the live demo. Look for follow-up email from us and for follow-up postings in the digital community group that gives you access to a recording of this, the presentation that you see on your screen, and some additional resources as well. We hope to do more of these, and we hope it was very helpful for you, and we appreciate your participation. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful day.
And we will follow up with any questions we didn't get to. I'll be sure to follow up with them in the digital community if that works for everybody.
Yes, that's great. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thanks for sticking with us with technical difficulties, guys.